welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the ultimate guide to booking cheap flights. If you want to save big on your next trip, stick around because we've got some game-changing tips for you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Graham, I've heard it all before. Clear your cookies, use incognito mode, blah, blah, blah. But trust me, we're going deeper than those basic tips. We're going to uncover the secrets the airlines don't want you to know. We're talking about the actual best days and times to book, the hidden loopholes that can save you hundreds, and the tools that will make you feel like a travel hacking pro. So buckle up because we're about to take off into the world of cheap airfare. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or planning your first big adventure, this video is packed with actionable advice that you can use right now to start saving serious money on your next flight. So let's get started. You've probably heard that booking on a Tuesday is the magic solution to finding cheap flights. This idea has been around for years, and many travelers have sworn by it, believing that airlines release their best deals on this day. And while that used to hold some weight, the truth is it's not as simple as it used to be. The landscape of airline pricing has changed dramatically over the years, making it more complex than just picking a specific day. The airline industry is constantly evolving, and their pricing algorithms are getting more and more sophisticated. These algorithms take into account a multitude of factors, from demand and supply to competitor pricing and even historical data. So while booking on a Tuesday might save you a few bucks here and there, it's not the guaranteed win it once was. The algorithms are designed to maximize revenue, and they adjust prices dynamically based on real-time data. Instead of focusing on a single day, we need to shift our thinking to understand the patterns and trends that drive airline prices. This means looking at the bigger picture and considering various factors that influence ticket costs. And one of the biggest factors is actually something you might not expect: competition. Airlines are in a constant battle to attract customers, and this competition can work in your favor if you know how to leverage it. See, airlines often announce their sales and promotions on Mondays. These announcements are designed to grab attention and drive early week bookings. This triggers a chain reaction in the industry, with competitors scrambling to match or beat each other's prices. As a result, the initial sales can lead to a flurry of price adjustments across the board. This price war typically heats up midweek, which is why you'll often find the best deals on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. By this time, airlines have had a chance to respond to each other's moves, creating a window of opportunity for savvy travelers. By then, the airlines have had a chance to adjust their prices based on the competition, and you can reap the benefits. This midweek period can be a sweet spot for finding lower fares. Now, this isn't a foolproof system. There are always exceptions and variables that can throw a wrench into the works. Sometimes airlines might hold off on their sales or adjust their strategies. They might introduce flash sales or exclusive deals that don't follow the usual patterns. But understanding this dynamic gives you a significant edge when it comes to finding those sweet spot deals. Being aware of how and when airlines adjust their prices can help you make more informed decisions. So, the next time you're planning a trip, keep an eye on those Tuesday and Wednesday flights. Monitor the prices over a few days to get a sense of the trends, and be ready to pounce when you see a good deal. You might be surprised at the savings you can unlock. With a bit of patience and strategic planning, you can make the most of the competitive nature of the airline industry and score some fantastic deals on your next flight. Okay, so we've talked about the best days to book, but what about the best time of day? Believe it or not, this can actually make a difference too. Think about it. Most people are searching and booking flights during the day, right? That means airlines know there's higher demand during those peak hours, and they adjust their prices accordingly. But late at night or early in the morning, that's when things get interesting. Fewer people are online, which means less competition for those coveted cheap seats. Now, this isn't just some random coincidence. Airlines often release a limited number of discounted seats at various times throughout the day, and if those seats don't get snatched up during peak hours, they might still be available at a lower price during those off-peak times. Plus, airlines sometimes make mistakes. They might accidentally release a fare at a lower price than intended, or they might need to fill up a flight that's not selling well. And these mistakes often happen outside of normal business hours, So, if you're willing to stay up late or wake up early, you might just stumble upon some incredible deals. Just make sure you're ready to book quickly because those airfares and discounted seats tend to disappear fast. So, you found the perfect flight, right? You've got it all planned out, but then you see the price and bam, it's gone up. What happened? Well, my friends, welcome to the world of airline pricing algorithms. These things are like the stock market on steroids, constantly changing based on a million different factors. Think about it. Airlines want to sell every single seat on that plane at the highest possible price. To do that, they've got these super sophisticated algorithms that are constantly analyzing data, like literally millions of data points every single day. They're looking at things like demand, competition, even the weather. Let me give you an example. Let's say a bunch of people are suddenly searching for flights from LA to Vegas for a big fight weekend. The algorithm sees this spike in demand and boom, prices go up. It's like they know you're about to click that book now button. And it's not just about demand. These algorithms are also looking at what your competitors are doing. If another airline drops their price, you better believe the algorithm is going to adjust accordingly. It's a constant game of cat and mouse, and you, my friend, are the mouse trying to find the cheapest cheese. All right, folks, let's talk about a little travel hack that's been around for a while, but is still shrouded in mystery for many hidden city ticketing. This clever trick can save you a significant amount of money on airfare, but it comes with its own set of rules and risks. Now, before you get any ideas about sneaking onto flights, this is perfectly legal, but it might make the airlines a little grumpy. Airlines have their own pricing strategies, and hidden city ticketing takes advantage of these pricing quirks. Essentially, hidden city ticketing is like finding a shortcut through the airline's pricing system. It's a way to outsmart the algorithms that determine flight prices, allowing you to pay less for your journey. Sometimes a direct flight to your destination is way more expensive than a flight that connects in that city. This happens because airlines price tickets based on demand, competition, and other factors that can make connecting flights cheaper. So, you book the connecting flight, get off at your desired destination, and skip the last leg. This way, you can reach your destination without paying the higher price of a direct flight. Let's say you want to fly from New York to Chicago. You might find that a direct flight is quite expensive. A direct flight might cost you $300, but a flight from New York to Denver with a layover in Chicago is only $150. This is where hidden city ticketing comes into play. With hidden city ticketing, you book the Denver flight, get off in Chicago, and boom, you just saved yourself $150. It's a simple yet effective way to cut down on travel expenses. Now, there are some caveats. This method isn't without its downsides, and it's important to be aware of them before you decide to use hidden city ticketing. You can't check bags because they'll end up in Denver, and if you miss your connecting flight because you chose to deplane early, the airline might not be too happy. Additionally, airlines are aware of this practice and may penalize as frequent offenders, but if you're traveling right and are okay with a little bit of risk, hidden city ticketing can save you a ton of cash. Just make sure to do your research, understand the potential consequences, and always have a backup plan in case things don't go as expected. There are even websites and apps dedicated to helping you find hidden city ticketing opportunities. These tools can make the process easier and more efficient, allowing you to take full advantage of this travel hack. So next time you're planning a trip, consider hidden city ticketing as an option. It might just be the key to unlocking significant savings on your airfare. Happy travels! All right, folks, let's talk about the golden rule of cheap flights flexibility. You see, airlines price their tickets based on supply and demand. When demand is high, like during peak seasons or weekends, prices skyrocket. But when demand is low, airlines are desperate to fill those seats, and that's where you come in. Being flexible with your travel dates is like having a secret weapon in your back pocket. Instead of flying out on a Friday when everyone else is, consider flying out on a Tuesday or Wednesday. You might be surprised at how much cheaper those flights are. And it's not just about the day of the week. Being flexible with your travel times can also save you a ton of money. Early morning or late night flights are often cheaper because fewer people want to travel at those times. I know waking up at the crack of dawn isn't always ideal, but hey, a little sleep deprivation is worth it for a cheap flight, right? The key here is to be open to different options. Don't be afraid to play around with different dates and times on flight comparison websites. You might just stumble upon a deal that's too good to pass up. All right, let's talk about round trip versus one-way tickets. This is a topic that often gets overlooked, but it can make a huge difference in your travel experience and your wallet. Now, most people, when they're booking a flight, they immediately go for that round trip option. It feels natural, right? You're planning to go somewhere and then come back, so why not book it all at once and be done with it? You're going somewhere and coming back, so you book it all at once. It seems convenient and straightforward, and it often is. But what if I told you there's another way that could be even better? But hold on a minute, because booking 2 one-way tickets can actually save you a significant amount of money in certain situations. This isn't just a rare occurrence. It happens more often than you might think. This is especially true when you're flying on a budget airline. These airlines are known for their low prices, but they also have some unique pricing strategies that can work in your favor. See, budget airlines often price their one-way tickets incredibly competitively to attract customers. They want to fill their planes, and they know that offering low prices is a great way to do that. They know people are looking for the absolute cheapest option, and they're willing to offer rock-bottom prices to get them on board. This means you can often find amazing deals if you're willing to look for them. So if you're flexible with your travel dates and you're not afraid to mix and match airlines, piecing together 2 one-way flights could be a brilliant strategy. Flexibility is key here. The more flexible you are, the better deals you can find. Think about it. You could snag a crazy, cheap one-way deal with one budget airline for your outbound flight. This could be a flight that leaves at an odd time or on a less popular day, but the savings can be substantial. And then find another great deal on a different airline for your return. This way, you're not tied to one airline's schedule or pricing, giving you more options and potentially more savings. This can be a bit more work than just clicking round trip. But trust me, the potential savings are definitely worth a little extra effort. You might spend a bit more time researching and comparing prices, but the end result can be very rewarding. Plus, it opens up a world of possibilities for your trip, allowing you to potentially explore another city or country on your way back. Imagine having a layover in a city you've always wanted to visit, or even planning a multi-city trip that you wouldn't have considered with a round-trip ticket. This approach can turn a simple trip into an adventure, giving you the chance to experience new places and cultures. It's not just about saving money, it's about enriching your travel experience. So next time you're booking a flight, take a moment to consider the one-way option. It might just be the key to a more affordable and exciting journey. Happy travels. We've all been there, scrolling through flight options, and BAM! A budget airline pops up with a fare so low it seems like a glitch in the Matrix. You can't help but get excited picturing all the amazing things you'll do with the money you're saving. But before you hit that book button, let's talk about the elephant in the airplane cabin, those pesky extra charges. Budget airlines are masters at advertising ridiculously low fares, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're reeling you in with the promise of a cheap flight, but what they don't always emphasize is that the base fare is often just the bare bones. It's like buying a car without wheels and then being surprised when they charge you extra to add them on. You're essentially paying for the privilege of sitting in a seat and being transported from point A to point B, and trust me, they'll nickel and dime you for everything else. Want to bring a carry-on bag? That'll be extra. Need to choose your seat? Extra. Want a snack or a drink on board? You guessed it, extra. Suddenly, that unbelievably cheap flight isn't looking so cheap anymore. You know the saying, the early bird gets the worm? Well, when it comes to booking flights, it's not always that simple. There's this common misconception that booking your flights as far in advance as possible will guarantee you the cheapest price. But the reality is airline pricing is a complex beast, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer. In fact, booking too early can sometimes work against you. Think about it. Airlines are businesses, and their ultimate goal is to maximize their profits. If they release those super low fares too far in advance, they risk selling out all their seats at a price that's lower than they could have gotten closer to the departure date. So while it's true that booking in advance can sometimes snag you a good deal, especially for popular routes or during peak seasons, there's also a sweet spot you need to aim for. For domestic flights within the US, booking 1 to 3 months in advance is usually a good strategy. This gives airlines enough time to gauge demand and release competitive fares, but it's not so far in advance that you're stuck with a high price if demand drops later on. You know, just like in real estate, information is power when it comes to booking flights. Gone are the days of refreshing airline websites endlessly, hoping for a price drop. We've got technology on our side now, people. Price prediction tools like Google Flights and Hopper are like having a personal assistant for your travel plans. These platforms leverage massive amounts of data, analyzing historical price trends, airline pricing patterns, and even real-time demand to give you the inside scoop on when to book. They're not just pulling numbers out of thin air either. These tools are built on complex algorithms that crunch millions of data points, so you can trust that their predictions are rooted in something substantial. It's like having a team of analysts working behind the scenes to help you score the best deal. We all make mistakes, right? Even those big fancy airlines and booking websites aren't immune to the occasional blunder. But here's the thing, their mistakes can be your gain, especially when it comes to something called error fares. Now, error fares are basically pricing mistakes that happen when something goes wrong in the system. Maybe someone entered the wrong currency, forgot a zero, or there's a glitch in the matrix. Whatever the reason, these errors can result in ridiculously cheap flights. Think international round trips for a few $100 instead of thousands. Sounds too good to be true. Well, here's the catch. Error fares are usually live for a very short time. We're talking hours, sometimes even minutes. Airlines and booking sites are quick to catch these mistakes and correct them. All right, guys, let's talk about layovers. I know nobody layovers. They can be inconvenient. They eat into your travel time, and sometimes they involve sprinting through airports like you're in an action movie. But here's the thing, layovers can save you a ton of money. Seriously, we're talking hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more on international flights. Why? Well, airlines often price their direct flights at a premium because they know people are willing to pay for convenience. But if you're willing to be a little more flexible with your time, you can often find significantly cheaper flights with layovers. Think of it this way, you're basically getting paid to spend a few extra hours in an airport. You can use that time to catch up on work, read a book, or even explore the airport itself. Some airports are practically destinations in their own right. We've all heard the stories, right? Someone's friend of a friend snagged an incredible last-minute deal on a flight to Hawaii for like $100. It's tempting to think that if you just wait long enough, those amazing deals will magically appear. But here's the cold, hard truth. Last-minute deals are largely a myth, especially for flights. While they might have been more common in the past, airlines have become incredibly sophisticated at using algorithms and data to maximize their profits. Think about it. Airlines are businesses, and their goal is to fill every single seat on every single flight at the highest possible price. They know that people who book last minute are often desperate, whether it's for a family emergency, a business trip, or a sudden vacation opportunity. And when you're desperate, you're more likely to pay a premium, right? That's why airlines often jack up prices as the departure date approaches, especially for those last remaining seats. And there you have it, folks. Those are my top tips to help you book cheap flights and save money on your next adventure. Remember, a little bit of research and planning can go a long way. Don't be afraid to experiment with different dates, airlines, and even airports to see what works best for you. And remember to use those price comparison tools and set up those price alerts. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Safe travels.